You may need to sit down for this one. Did you know that 100 million women have been diagnosed with PCOS around the world? Wow! PCOS is also one of the leading causes that women struggle to get pregnant. So come grab your tea. I have a special cup today. Grab your tea and come join me. Welcome to the Tea with the Fertility Godmother. And today we're going to unpack PCOS, what it is, if you can get pregnant if you have it, and what you can do about it. So I'm excited to talk to you today and join with you. I have a couple questions that I will answer. So hopefully just in the talk I'll answer those questions. So welcome. So first of all, what is PCOS? So PCOS is a hormone imbalance, and it usually is related to what they call insulin resistance, which just means that your body cannot metabolize insulin, your blood sugar levels. So it's really important to manage that. So PCOS is not just a problem with fertility, but it's an endocrine disorder that you can absolutely manage. But it's something that you can have and you need to manage for your life. So it's something that you need to be really healthy with. What I see a lot of women is, you want to get pregnant, so you're doing everything you can to get pregnant. But when that phase is over, it's still super important to stay really healthy, because you have precursors to diabetes, to heart disease, and those are really important to make sure that you navigate all those things. Okay, hi, welcome everybody. Excited to see you today. Let me know if you have any questions. I'll be happy to answer them. But so I wanted to share some of the most common symptoms for PCOS. You don't have to have all of them, okay? So some of the most common symptoms are irregular periods. Sometimes they can be really long. Sometimes I've had women, they've gone over a year without a period. So it just really depends. The thing with PCOS is it varies often on how the severity of it. So if you're somebody who has less symptoms, then of course it's probably going to be easier for you to conceive. And we're going to talk a little bit about that in just a moment. But so you have irregular periods or absent periods. You can be insulin resistant, which is a really important thing to manage. Some people get acne, really like cystic acne, on their face or on their back. They have hair growth on your face and other places where you extra hair growth and everywhere, so that can be an issue. And then the other thing is, so you have more hair growth on your face and all over your body, but a lot of women lose the head on their hair. They lose their hair on the head. They get that male pattern baldness. Oh, that was hard for me to say. They get male pattern baldness, or they just the hair starts to shed out because of the hormones that are going on in the body. And then the other thing that can be really challenging with PCOS, because of the insulin resistance, is it can be more challenging to lose weight. And so that can cause a whole cascade of health issues and concerns and inflammation. So those are some things that some key things that you can actually manage and take control over. So I know I just listed a whole bunch of these symptoms that can be wrong with PCOS, that you may or may not be experiencing all of them. And just type in the chat, no way, if you're going to not let that get you down, because I have good news. The good news with PCOS is that you can absolutely manage your symptoms. It is not an end-all be-all where you're cursed and you have to suffer, and you can get pregnant. So the thing with PCOS is you have a lot of eggs. You just have to get your body balanced and ready to ovulate, right? So with PCOS, you don't necessarily ovulate, which leaves those cysts and your ovaries become cystic, so you're not producing enough of the right hormone, and then you have like progesterone or LH, and then you have too much estrogen, and sometimes you'll have too much testosterone. So you need to do the things to get your body in balance. And I have seen cyst remove, like just dissolve, once you get your body in balance. So I'm not saying that it's a cure for PCOS, but you can really manage your symptoms and you can get pregnant. The other concern with PCOS is staying pregnant, right? So if it's really important to stay pregnant, to stay healthy throughout your pregnancy. But the key is, as with anything, is the preparation. So making sure that you're healthy and you stay healthy for at least 3 months before you try to conceive. Your body needs to be healthy because your egg is growing inside the follicle. It takes 3 months for that egg to grow and then to be released before you actually ovulate. So the extra hormones, the extra inflammation, the extra insulin that's going on in your body is impacting the quality of the egg. And that's why miscarriage can happen. Or maybe you're ovulating really late and the egg is too, I like to describe it as being too ripe. Maybe that could be a reason why you can miscarry. So once you get that in balance, once you get your body healthy and you're in functioning, then you're going to decrease your chances of miscarriage. And you can do that through a lot of different ways. I'm going to talk about different ways that you can do that yourself, and then also through the help of, some other modalities. Okay, so the thing is, treatment of PCOS, if you're going to go the natural route, can take time. But I highly recommend that you at least take the time to get yourself really healthy. And if you end up going down the IUI route, and intrauterine insemination, where you need a little bit of Clomid to help you ovulate. So I usually, when I work with women that have PCOS, I usually say, okay, what's the route that you want to go on? And it's so different for everybody. Some people are like dying, they already want to have their baby. Some people want to get really healthy. And so there's different ways, but no matter where you are, just make sure, if you haven't already, I can't emphasize it enough, it's make sure that you are really healthy. So you can manage your symptoms with diet. Diet is huge, huge, huge. And I know there's a lot of information about PCOS and diet infertility, but specifically for PCOS, you want to avoid foods that are inflammatory, because there's already inflammation going on in your body. So inflammatory foods are foods that are like dairy, gluten, and sugar. Those are going to be your most inflammatory foods. So does that mean you can never have sugar? No, it just means that you need to really be mindful of it and of how much you're having. So I like to try to keep my sugar intake under 25 milligrams a day. And you can still have fruit, but you want to watch the sugar and the hidden sugars. So it's really important. And the thing is, when you have refined foods or you have a lot of gluten, it increases the inflammation, but it also can impact your insulin resistance, right? Your blood sugar levels. So when you are eating more high fiber, let's talk about what you can eat, which you can increase. Okay, when you have a higher fiber diet, when you're eating a lot of vegetables, high quality fats, and you're making sure you're drinking lots of water, good sources of protein, those are things that, and still carbs, okay? So I said no gluten, that's the study. There's a lot of studies that show about gluten-free in combination with exercise, the other thing, but we'll get there in a second. But I lost my train of thought, sorry. So gluten-free, I'm talking about inflammation and sugar, and then the gluten-free, but I didn't say carbs. That's where I was going. So carbs are still important, okay? Carbohydrates, I think, are important for especially women. And I usually recommend no more than 2 to 3 servings a day, or at least a couple times a week. And the other thing is, some women really respond well to the keto, but not everybody, the ketogenic diet. But not everybody does. So I really want you to pay attention to what works for you. Okay, so some women really need carbs. I believe that women need carbs. I'm on that boat. I myself need to have carbs, but I have healthy carbs. I'll have like organic brown rice, something that has a lot of fiber in it, maybe some gluten-free oats, those things that are really helpful and important, some quinoa. So those are things that can be helpful, that are helpful carbs, but you're watching the serving size, right? You're not having a ton of them. You're just keeping it small, and you're eating way more vegetables. So important, and the fiber is going to also be really important. Okay, so that you can manage that with diet makes a huge difference in combination with exercise. So even if you just do those 2 things alone, you can really start to regulate your body and sometimes you'll need additional help. But there's some studies to show that with diet and exercise, and diet, what I just described for you, can really help balance, the inflammation, get your body, and allow your chance to regulate itself, because your body can heal itself as long as you're doing the right things to support it. Sometimes it needs a little bit more help, and this is one of those things. So the other thing is acupuncture can work really well, because acupuncture helps stimulate the ovaries. It helps the function of the ovaries. It helps balance your hormones so that everything can communicate better, and it also helps reduce stress and so many amazing things. I know it may sound funny putting needles in your body and then it's relaxing, but it really is. If you haven't tried it yet, you'll probably love it. But if you do go to an acupuncturist, you want to make sure that they understand PCOS, that they understand fertility, and it's really important that they specialize in that, so you're not wasting your time and you can really make sure that you're on the right path and getting the right support. So we have diet, acupuncture, exercise, and as far as supplements go, there's 2 supplements that I'm going to recommend for you today. The ones that have been studied the most, that I recommend most, if not all, of my PCOS women go on that. It's called Ovasitol, or it's Noyer-Erez in combination of D-chiroinositol. What? So you can download the free gift I have for you. It's called, I wrote it down, Essential Supplements for PCOS. You can go to the link in my bio or in the comment description below. I'll put a link in for you, and you can download the essential supplements for PCOS, and you can research the Noyer-Erez and D-chiroinositol. So what that is it helps balance it's a natural supplement that doesn't have side effects, that helps with your egg quality, and it helps balance your insulin levels. So it's something that's also safe for you to take all the way through your pregnancy. So what it does is it helps your ovaries function so that you can ovulate. The thing is, again, as with everything, it takes time. So if you're somebody who hasn't had a period in over a year, it can take somewhere between 3 to 6 months before you start to get a period. And that's where people might want to start to think about doing an IUI if they're feeling really desperate, like they want to have their child now. But again, it's so important to take that 3 months before, to at least balance your body, eat really healthy, create the best environment so you can get pregnant and you can stay pregnant, so you can have your baby and not miscarry, right? So important. That other piece is so important. So Noyer-Erez in combination with D-chiro, and there's a specific ratio. So the company I really like is called Theralogics, and that's where, because it has a perfect balance. Really important for that. The other thing I recommend is N-acetylcysteine, L.Ac for short, and that's also on the paper that you can download. And that helps as well. It helps your body detoxify, it helps you ovulate, it helps, it's a natural antioxidant, which is really important because your body is accumulating more toxins easier, right? So you have to think about detoxifying more, which is where fiber comes in, exercise comes in, so that you can sweat everything out. I'm going a little bit long. I hope I'm not overwhelming you. I'm going to wrap up really soon. But those are some, I hope that was really informative for you and you got some really great information for things that you can do. I also, when I work with women who have PCOS, I use Chinese herbs to help balance their period. And they work really well. They don't taste good, but they're really good because we can tackle a lot of things with those herbs. I make them specifically for you. So those are some things that are really important. I hope you found today's episode helpful. If you did, please let me know. Give me a hey, yes in the chat, or send me some questions if there's anything else you want me to talk about. But here's to your health, your fertility, and your happiness. And I will see you next week on Tea with the Fertility Godmother. Thanks for joining. Mwah. Bye.